Florida. We're all the way from Florida. Yeah, it's a hearse. There's the license plate on it to get the information. That's perfect right there. All right, 100 degrees Fahrenheit. At 643 miles on the odometer. Sorry about that grammatical slip. It is Wednesday, July 10th, 4:55 p.m. and we're headed off to delivery. $532.5, 2.4. All right. That was yesterday. And that's it for freeway. $705.4, 1.9. So I finally figured it out. David Lynch, Eraserhead, during that time. It took him 5 years to make it. Just now I figured it out. So he would go into these restaurants and he would get the syrup basically, that you use to mix with the bricks for soda. And he would drink some of that, but I know how he did it. I finally figured it out just now. As of, let's see if I can document it. Wednesday, July 10th at 7:02 p.m. I figured it out. They come in boxes. They throw those boxes out. So the syrup comes in a box. It is attached with a hose which filters in filtered water. So the mixture is called the Brix. And it's the mixture of the syrup with the filtered water and the carbon. It's used with carbon. Those boxes are thrown out. Those are the boxes he would drink from. So we give him like a little sugar high. He used the boxes. I thought he went in as like a maintenance guy and just unattached it and drank from the little thing. He did drink from the little tube, but it was from the box. They just throw it in the trash. A lot of geniuses will find what they need in the trash. My dad did the same with jewelry. He could find jewelry, or he could find precious metals in x-rays. That's Greenwood right there. That's where Roddy was buried, and Van Cliburn, which we're doing a little bit of research on Van Cliburn. He mostly studied Russian music. He was taught by a female Russian pianist, and probably was one of the greatest pianists of all times. And he happened to be buried right there in Fort Worth. There's a few other famous people there too. Basically, David Lynch probably asked for those boxes at restaurants because they throw them out all the time at a certain time of day. usually around that time of day. So he would go in and ask them, do you have the boxes that you use for the syrup, for the mixture? Yeah, they're in the back. And they put them right in the back of the door, set out to be thrown in the trash can. You can also get them out of the trash can too. And guess what's in that? A high concentration, a high concentrated amount of sugar. Very, very high amount, which he's talked about sugar highs before. Yep, he's talked about sugar highs. Whether he remembers it or not, I don't know. But it was probably on the level of a drug, nearly. Do not recommend it at all. It could put you in what's called a sugar coma. Pretty serious thing. Good. Yeah, lots of rocks. There's mostly grass. They're good uns. They're good uns. Good uns. Good uns. Seven 3510 4.7. Rockwood go-karts. Don't miss out. Come to Fort Worth. Get yourself a ticket to get in the go-karts and play some mini golf. Golf. And that license plate says, in taxation without representation. And I can't tell where they're from, but it's red, white, and blue. Eight 14.4, 1.9. 8 13.4, 1.8, I think. fails me, have a good night. And I said, you have a good night. There's the church. (832.6) 2.9. Surrealism and Us. Check it out at the Modern. Remember, Pippin and $1 Million Quartet. $1 Million Quartet is coming in September at Casa Mañana. This is the one with the soldier. Can barely see it right there. The soldier with the cross. Little kids looking at him. And as the man said, they were cones. And he's right. They were cones. See? There's a lot of cones. They were cones. They were cones. Tons of cones. Look at all those cones. Looks like they're laying down some cones right now for the special event going on. I don't understand the cone construction, but it's for Dickies. It's Dickies Arena. There's all the cones. Dickies Arena. And yes, I know A.D.W.C coined it, but he actually didn't coin it. It was done by another actor. A driving sequence. Maybe Adam Sandler was involved. I don't know for sure. Wedding singer. The wedding singer, yeah, Adam Sandler was involved. Yeah, so he's driving around, practicing driving, I guess a limousine. I don't know, I'm just guessing. And then he goes around, hits these cones. And those could have been people, but they were cones. And that's where it comes from. And A.D.W.C coined that. And then I just kind of filtered it into my life because I got bored and binge watched A.D.W.C for a couple of years or so. Still watch him every once in a while. He's getting ready for that marathon. He's going to run a half a marathon through Walt Disney World. Or Disneyland. That's right, it's in California, Disneyland. It's a half a marathon. It's about roughly 13 miles. Look, crosses. It's all praying. That's tough to do. California's tough. 13 miles. Probably walking and running. Maybe mostly jogging. He lost a tremendous amount of weight. Doesn't even look like A.D.W.C anymore. Looks like a version of him. It goes to show, even at the age of 50 or close to 50, it is possible you can lose weight if you really need to. You know, it'll happen. It takes time. Usually, if you got a little bit of money, then you know, you can afford to do it. All right, we're gonna get one last look at art and war in the Renaissance right here. (905.12) 4.9. All right. Well, growing up, that's where my friend Mark Friedman lived, right there, and that's where Craig Misfelt lived. And he got me to put a brown paper sack full of poo on that doorstep and light it on fire and ring the doorbell. I don't know if it lit on fire, but I did ring the doorbell. I was part of what's known as the 4-H club. They throw pumpkins and stuff outside the windows, or they did. I never did that, but I did put poo on the door. Well, on the doorstep. I feel really bad about it. It's my little confession. I don't know if they ever answer the door, because what the idea is that there's a bag of poo on the doorstep, and then you stomp it out, and you get poo on your feet. But Mark was a good friend of mine. We watched, one time Mark invited me over, we all watched What's Eating Gilbert Grape. We thought Leo was like best actor ever. Then he was, back when he was young. And we ate M&M cookies, and there was some smelly herb kind of thing involved too. We all used to hang out at Hip Pocket. It's back in the day. They'll stone you when you moan and boo. They'll stone you when you moan. I think it's the other house over there. Yeah, don't ever put poo before the doorstep. Brown paper sack and light it on fire. Don't ever do that. I was just a teenager at the time, though. It's a cool looking window for a house, you know. Okay, so with the 4-H club, I didn't really belong to them, but it was Craig Misfelt led it. And then there was some guy, had blonde hair, I don't remember his name, but his dad was a doctor. And Craig drove a Cadillac, and he had a disco ball that was like right here. We used to go to, well, we'd go through the Taco Bell drive-through with Staying Alive, you know, from Saturday Night Fever, playing from the Bee Gees. We'd have it turned up really loud. We just did weird things, but the poo incident, or poop, however you want to say it, I don't know if it was dog poop or whose poop it was, but they were like, hey, I didn't know it was Mark's door. I didn't know the guy at the time. I later became friends with Mark, but Mark was kind of an actor. Well, he was an actor. He was one of the lead actors at Pascal too. He played Jesus, and yeah, so I basically put poop on the doorstep of a guy who played Jesus. I played Luke. So, but anyway, I didn't know him at the time, but Craig said, okay, look, light this, put it on the doorstep, and then ring the doorbell and then run off. But I don't really remember if I lit it, though. I don't think I would have lit it, but I think I did put the poop down and then ring the doorbell, which is a horrible thing to do. Don't ever do that. And then I jumped in the Cadillac, and we all drove off laughing. But you don't ever want to do that. It's not safe at all to do that. But I do feel kind of bad about it. But I don't think I lit it, though. It didn't sound like me. I don't think I lit the bag. It was a little lunch bag. I don't know if I ever told Mark about it. I don't even know if anyone came to the door. But they put me up to it, and I followed orders, you know, as a teenager. Feel kind of bad about that. But anyway, we all ended up becoming friends anyway. And then I did a play out in Hip Pocket called Adventures with Jesus, and I played Luke. And my line was, in opening the play, was Dear Theophilus. And Mark had the most lines. He had to play Jesus. There's a reason why. I don't want to get into the whole politics of it. But Johnny Simons, who was the artistic director, cast him as Jesus at a Tom Thumb. He saw him at a Tom Thumb. He's like, I bet this guy could play Jesus. There's the biz drop right there. See the biz drop? Anyway, and so I guess I was cast as Luke, who is the Gentile. And yeah, so we did Adventures with Jesus. There was this alcoholic guy that played John the Baptist named Zelmer. He wasn't like a horrible alcoholic, but he did drink beer every once in a while. I thought it was funny seeing John the Baptist backstage drinking beer, or back behind the, we didn't really, well, we had backstage. I guess it was like we were kind of like in the woods. We were in like an area around the lake of Lake Worth. It was a really good experience. It was a really good play. I really liked it. The artistic director didn't like Adventures with Jesus very much, the one that directed it, I heard. But I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was a good... We used the Bible, Luke, the book of the Bible, the New Testament, as our script. And we all had to decide on what Bible we were going to use. If it was NIV or if it was King James Version. So there was a guy named Mario, who's a short little guy, that played several different characters in Adventure with Jesus. And he showed up one day saying like thee and thou and all this stuff. And the director was like, no, we're not using King James Version. We're not saying thee and thou and all that stuff. We're using the NIV version, which is more kind of colloquial, which means like normal speech. So then he came back the next day and had the lines memorized for the kid. But Mark was really good. He had to memorize a lot of these long monologues, parables. It was torture. of Jesus, giving these parables and stuff. And I was a big fan of it. I liked Liam Neeson. I thought he kind of reminded me a little of Liam Neeson playing Jesus or something. But anyway, we got through it, and I don't think I ever like confessed to Mark, saying, "Hey, Mark, I was hanging out with the 4-H club, and I put poop on your doorstep one time and rang the doorbell." I just figured it didn't fit with him playing Jesus and stuff, so it was kind of like a silent confession. And oh yeah, he did make a joke though when he was backstage. So I would go up in front of the audience and I would say, "Dear Theophilus," and I was talking to Theophilus, presenting the book of Luke, basically the story, the account, because Luke wasn't a direct witness, but he heard it all from like Paul and stuff, from Apostle Paul, but he still told the story to Theophilus, who was an important person. And so every night I would say my line and everything, and then Mark would be backstage and he would say, "You know, when you start that off, it sounds like you're saying here at the office." And I went, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, it's what it sounds like. Every night I hear you say here at the office." So I really put a duh on the dear. Dear Theophilus. Dear Theophilus. You know, so that, you know, you know I wasn't saying here at the office. He was just making a joke though. Anyway, that's what went down at Hip Pocket back in the early 90s. It was probably like 93-ish, the summertime. It was called Adventures with Jesus, as in the Messiah. And I played Luke, and Mark Friedman played Jesus Christ. And it actually worked. We got a good write-up in the Fort Worth Star-Telegram. A note to future directors: when Mark was crucified, or when Jesus was crucified, the lights went out, and we all had to scream really loud. It was a great effect, but we screamed in the darkness, just to let you know.